Alrighty, so in today's video, we're gonna do a brief comparison between the Autel Evo 2 Pro against the Mavic 2 Pro's video. Stick around. What's good, guys? Ken here, you're watching Original Dobo. This channel is totally about drone and tech, so if that is your thing, all I ask is that if you enjoy drone content, hit that subscribe button because I put out new videos every single week and you definitely want to be here. So one of the most requested videos that I've gotten since the announcement of the Evo 2s is a comparison against the Mavic 2 Pro with the Autel Evo 2 Pro. Now the Evo 2 is the new kid on the block while the Mavic 2 Pro has been out for roughly about 2 years now. And I was curious to see how this drone still could stack up against a new drone that was announced in 2020. And honestly, it holds up pretty well. With that being said, I've got some test footage that I shot while I was out on the water the other day. So here it is. Alrighty, so in looking over that footage, I think it's really clear that the Evo 2 Pro is a warmer tone of color. It's also a little bit more saturated and punchier, but all of that can be dialed back in the settings of the camera. I left everything as stock just so you can get a good idea of what you would get right out of the SD card. I felt the Mavic 2 Pro's images are still just very natural, clean looking images. But as far as overall sharpness and detail, the Evo 2 Pro definitely has a lot more detail. Again, this was shot at 6K 24 frames per second, while the Mavic 2 Pro was shot at 4K 24 frames per second. I did downsample this to 4K just to make it a fair comparison between the Mavic and the Evo. Overall, like I said, color is going to be really subjective depending on your own personal taste. Personally, I like both of them. I'm a big fan of color grading and, making the footage whatever I want it to be. I didn't do that with any of this. This is all straight out of the camera. I would say if you ask me what camera would I choose, well, I think it's going to boil down to how much work you want to do in post. If you want something that's just great right off the SD card that you can trust is going to give you a image that you don't have to do a lot of work to, the Evo 2 Pro is definitely going to deliver that. If you want to spruce up your footage or edit it and make it more of your own, the Mavic 2 Pro is definitely a good way to go. I have not played with the log footage yet on the Evo 2 Pro, so we'll have to see what improvements this has as far as the 10-bit goes and if it's comparable to the Mavic 2 Pro's log. I also plan on doing a low light comparison between both of these drones to see how they do. I suspect the Evo 2 Pro is going to do really well. I was seeing some things yesterday while I was doing some low light testing that really did shock me and surprise me. So it's going to be curious to see how it actually does when compared to the Mavic 2 Pro. But I gotta say, I do like this drone. I did notice some horizon tilt in both of those. Yesterday, the winds were roughly about 15 to 20 miles per hour. It was a struggle to get just to the lighthouse from where we were on the boat. There was a period of time where the Mavic 2 Pro gimbal just went absolutely bonkers and the camera was totally out of focus. Not really sure what happened there, but it was a little bit scary because it was out over the island. The Evo 2 Pro did really well in the wind. You can probably see in some of the clips, I was really fighting with the sticks to keep the Evo straight. And that's just because the wind was blowing out of the west. And it did really make this really difficult to film yesterday. But both of them did okay. And with no wind, you're probably not gonna have quite as hard of an issue. Plus two, taking off from a boat, neither one of these gimbals can really calibrate that well. Not trying to make excuses for them, but that is something to consider. Although I did notice I did not enable boat mode when I took off from the boat. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So yeah, there you go. That's the footage. Like I said, I think both of them are pretty cool. I'm gonna try to get some sample clips up for you guys. With 6K, I'm running out of space on my Google Drive, so I definitely need to add more to that. And I'm also just running out of time with the weekend, Mother's Day and everything coming up. And I've got the Mavic Air 2 in hand now. So I'm gonna be doing some testing on that and seeing how that drone does. So we've got more videos coming up. Be sure to stay tuned if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications so you don't miss any of these future videos. And I will see you again in the next one. Stay original.